Hello, everyone. My name is Thomas Burnett. That's DeMonte Weems, where we only occasionally dubbed in Polish.
Yeah, exactly. Don't you know, I'm just a master at Polish.
And I bring up the Polish dubbing because today we are talking about the very, very not so good horror film "No One Sleeps in the Woods Tonight." And like the Demon Slayer name, it has an actual Japanese name, and "No One Sleeps in the Woods Tonight" has an actual Polish name. But I'm not going to try to pronounce that because I'm not Polish.
Oh man, that name, that name. That's it's a name. Oh, I wish I knew how to speak Polish, but
What, just so you could say
I mean, of
your
course
movie's
I know
bad
how to
and you should
speak
feel bad?
Polish. You, of course I can speak Polish. I was just playing it off that I didn't know how to speak Polish.
Of course, because we are now playing 2020 chess.
Yeah, I'm playing 40 chess and you're just playing regular old chess.
There we go. All right, Demonte, since you recommended this film to me, why don't you go ahead and tell me your history with it, how you came across it, and why you recommended this piece of garbage to me?
Okay, so why garbage? Wow, out the gates. The reason why I recommended this to you is because I believe that it'd be an entertaining talk about because I randomly came across it while going across Netflix about a month ago, and I was so offended on how bad this was. And it's like, okay, it's not terrible. It just seems like the director's first movie. And it just there's some musical cues that really just did not do it for me.
Oh yeah.
Like, oh, it just nothing was okay. I don't know much about directing myself, but I feel like the camera angles were at least fine, and I understood. I got that sense of the movie and everything. But the music just completely ruins that movie.
It does ruin
I
the movie in few shots. There's just some of these
Okay,
scenes where I'm like,
yes.
am I supposed to be feeling happy or scared or somewhere in the between? If you play nothing, you could at least say it's a sense of ambiance. But it's not there. It's just
Exactly.
doesn't work.
Oh yeah, it's a god awful. it's it's something,
It
you
is
know.
something.
Um, but mostly I just wanted to hear how you felt about this movie. How would
Okay.
this make you feel? Is the main reason here why I
All
looked
right,
it up.
well, let's go ahead and start off with the fact that when I was growing up, my mother basically hated horror films because she was in college, she saw The Silence of the Lambs and was just scarred by it. And I can understand that reaction, but I think it was a bit of an overreaction in my opinion. But I'm not going to go and say my parents are terrible; they're not.
Yeah, yeah, of course not,
So
of course not.
I just went into this thinking, okay, I have enjoyed various other horror films. My favorite horror film is The Shining by Stanley Kubrick. It's cliche, but it just works on so many levels. I have seen Friday the 13th, Silence of the Lambs, as I said, Nightmare on Elm Street, and Chapter 1 and Chapter 2. Well, the 2016 and 2018, 19, I forget which year that was, because Chapter 2 was not that good.
Oh, CGI fest.
No, it's not that it was a CGI fest. It's because you kept on having to call attention to the CGI fest.
Fair enough.
Because one of the things that's important in horror is making sure the audience knows exactly what they're seeing is not the whole picture. For example, there was that one shot where a hand is going over the tree, and you see, oh, there's no one really there. And the final girl, I don't remember her name. That's how little I remember of her. I just call her the final girl. I know that's the trope name. And she's like, okay, what's this
This
supposed to be alluding to? Is this alluding to your past, something you think might be happening again in the woods, or is this supposed to be the actual creature? And
yeah.
spoiler alert, we find out the creatures, which I thought was a nice little touch. That's two creatures, not one, are basically two big fat hillbillies. That's basically what they are, so they couldn't
Okay,
fit behind that tree if they tried.
you forgot the most important part, though. They're not just hillbillies; they're hillbilly aliens.
No, no, no. They're hillbillies taken over by an alien parasite that came from a meteorite that made them go all evil on their dog and mother. It I wanted to bring this up later, but when I saw that, I'm like, okay, I think I know what the writer was going for. They wanted to have a slasher film type setup where there's a bunch of people in the woods, but they wanted to have a Stephen King type story where there's a giant mystical cult or something from space. Like that's what Pennywise is. Basically, it's it from outer space.
Yeah,
But you combine the two, and it doesn't work as well
doesn't
because
work nowhere as well as what you would hope. Oh
because
no.
what so many people hate about slasher films is the teenagers have to be the primary focus because a budget is a budget and can't just go all out like you would, well, not when they would, like they do in the third act with all the special effects and such.
Yes.
But because of that, the boring characters sitting there is like, I want to see these people murdered already, which
Yeah.
is why I don't really like some horror films like Saw.
All right. Let me ask you, who would you root for in this movie? Did you even have a character you think you were like, I hope this character survives, even though he's probably not, or she's
No,
probably not?
I actually was rooting for that one, the fat YouTuber guy, because one, he kept on making film references and says, "I know the horror
Same.
movie tropes." But the real reason I wanted him to live is because he said he ran a YouTube channel for like Let's Plays and such and could compete in StarCraft against Koreans. And I'm not
Against
being
Koreans.
demeaning or anything. Koreans are amazing at StarCraft. It is their
That's an understatement.
no, no, no. That's not an understatement. It is like their World Cup,
Exactly. It's not even
and
their
he
World
can
Cup. It's oof.
compete against Koreans. I want him to live. That's what
Yeah,
I
exactly.
wanted.
I just felt like they were being so mean to him for
They
his
were.
size. Oh no. It
Plus,
was
he said he had a YouTube channel with like over 900,000 subscribers, and his parents sent him to detox offline camp. If you may have 900,000 subscribers of what, like a clip show, you can make at least a few $1,000s a month. He should be paying your mortgage.
right. He's lining the way of the future. I think those parents are just living in the past, man.
Well,
Need to learn to
I
let
wouldn't
traditions
say they're
go.
living in the past. I'd say they are misdiagnosing something because there are some people who are very successful who are still, well, miserable in many ways. But yet again, it is a moment of I don't think this person needs to be here, unlike the other teens, because there was the one guy and I forget his name who's like, "Hey, I'm gonna be all out there, gonna be very very absurdly masculine." While he has like a short jean shorts, a San Francisco shirt, and whatever else it was. And half the time I was like, "Are you coding that this guy is gay?" Because you have San
Oh yeah.
Francisco, he's going up against everyone, but he's really just insecure, which fine, I can get it. But then you have the other guy who dresses normally, and it's like, well, I actually am gay.
Yeah.
Did you switch costumes or something?
I think I think that what that was like maybe that's the tough guy persona in uh Poland. So maybe that's what they think what a tough guy is. I think I think that's like a lost in translation kind of thing.
Maybe.
Honestly,
Or yeah,
um,
lost in translation.
well, because well, here's the thing that me and Allison do. Uh, because we figured out who the gay character was. We try to find the gays on the camera, and
You got gaydar.
um, yeah, we pull out the gaydar. I hope this doesn't offend anyone, but it shouldn't. Honestly, we just try to figure out who's the gay character or assume what character is going to be gay. Um, and we Allison has a 100% accuracy on these kinds of things. I am a 50-50 shot in the wind, and sometimes I get it, sometimes I don't. But yeah, I was rooting for the YouTuber too, though. I think he was the only one I wanted to live. He could have lived, but he decided to go back and save Final Girl because I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember any names in here. It's because it's Polish, and
Well,
even if I
not
did
that.
remember them, I don't want to embarrass myself on the internet trying to pronounce Polish
That's
names.
true. That's true. But yeah, yeah. Again, there are still characters from films like of Akira Kurosawa. He is a master at filmmaking, and I can still sit down and go, I remember that person's name, although I can't do it right now because I'm
Yeah, yeah.
insanely tired.
Oh yeah, that's
But
fair.
yeah,
That's
again,
fair.
there's a
I would.
moments, and plus we all know Tanjiro. There's Ichigo, and just so you know, oh, I know you know, there's two Ichigos that we've talked about. One from Bleach, one from Darling in the Franxx.
Oh yeah, that one's
So we
still
do can't well we can remember names from a culture that's foreign. It's just that it's a bad movie, therefore you don't remember anyone.
fair enough. It's a
Heck,
bad. Oh lord.
you could have dubbed this film in English and said
Oh, there
it's
is.
in Maine, and it would be a Stephen King story.
I. I'm just gonna say this right now. There is an English translate. I don't know if you did. You watch it in Polish or did you watch it
I
in
watched it in Polish
Okay,
because
good.
I at least have the respect to say I want to listen to it originally and
Okay,
maybe
good.
watch it in English if I love it.
Good. 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 Because oh boy, I do not like the English version. But that's usually the case with foreign films for me. I prefer the language that it was made in. I just feel like it captivates the artist a little bit more. The artist, we'll call the director the artist this time around. Um, and I just feel like it just makes me get a closer like feel for the movie. Like I really feel for these Polish kids and everything like that. Um, I didn't. Let's you know what? Before we continue down the negatives, name give me something you liked about it.
All right, there were a few things I did like about it. One, I liked the twist where there were two of the brothers and not just one, because one cliche I know of is, oh, the monster, the slasher, they just appear randomly. How they do that? Well, because they had to be there to murder someone. But here, it's simply because you can't keep track of them because there's two of them. And they're just feral monsters, and you gotta go all out. I think that
Oh,
was a very good subversion of my expectations. And one other thing I did like was there were a few shots where they were high aerial shots over the forest, and they were very pretty. But yet
oh
again,
yeah,
you're not looking for pretty in a horror film, and it literally looked like something out of like a high end documentary.
oh yeah. It was some good horror shots there. Um, okay. Let me think. What's the other thing? Oh, things that I liked. Yeah, I did like the fact that there was two monsters. Um, let me think. What's another thing I liked? I liked but hated the fact that the because okay, I'm gonna sound really fucked up because I can't remember his name, but the gay kid and the chapel, I was happy he didn't die in the chapel. I so thought he was dead. Unfortunately, to see him die by getting shot later in the movie, I was just like,
Yeah, by
oh,
the
that
random
kind
guy
of
in his shed.
yes, because him and the Netflix kid I want to survive. I already well, okay. Everyone who even pays somewhat attention to this movie will know who's the character that's gonna live because you know
Well, the trope of the
she.
final girl is something that's been well, it started with I think Friday the 13th and uh, what is it, Nightmare on Elm Street, where the one girl who is not very promiscuous is the one who survives, and
Well,
it's always a girl.
it's part of the horror movie code, man. The rules of the horror movie: you can never have sex or you die.
You have sex or and you die. And I have not seen Scream, but I know they talk about the cliches
Oh,
there over and over.
oh, we might have to make you watch that one.
Uh,
That's a parody movie of love. That movie is made with pure love. You don't look at it as a horror movie. You look at it as a parody. It is it is love. And then they made a parody of a parody. That's why I hate scary movie. But
well,
but
that's
yes.
very, very fair. But
Um
yeah, again, before we go too far, I think we drifted too far into just hating everything. Do you want to go ahead and read the summary off of IMDb so anyone who's listening knows what the film's about?
do I want their ears to bleed?
Well,
Sure.
the summary I have here in IMDb is like 4 sentences long, a paragraph. I think it shouldn't be too bad.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I didn't. I,
A group of technology dependent teenagers go to offline camp. Common hiking in the woods without access to smartphones will not end, however, as planned by the organizers. They will have to fight for real life with something they have not seen even in their darkest corners of the internet. In the face of deadly danger lurking in the woods, they will discover what true friendship is, love and sacrifice are. Now that doesn't sound like a bad
what?
movie.
Wait, wait. Hold on. Is that the same movie? That's no way. That's the same movie.
That is like describing was it the Tommy movie, not The Room, as a man discovers his insecurities and takes it out on his girlfriend.
Oh,
Now
I
that
did
sounds
not
like,
hit her.
but that is not where you're tearing me apart, Lisa. It does seem like
See the
something that was just very poorly made, and I do have a few theories on it. But let's
go
save
for
this
it.
for the end.
Oh, okay. Um, let me think. I know I have some more things that I like about this movie. Oh my gosh, I actually think that I mean I don't know Polish, so I don't know how cringy the dialogue really is. But I felt like the acting was good enough for a horror movie, in my opinion. You have your stupid characters making stupid decisions that no rational human would make. um,
Very true.
I didn't find any character like dreadfully annoying. And usually with these like teen slasher movies, there's most of the characters are annoying because they're gonna die, so you don't feel for them.
You always have
Is
that
usually the
one
case.
character you sit back and think, I hope you die first.
Yeah, exactly.
And what do you think the writer and director, the actors, the producer, they wanted to actually get across with this film? Because I think they were trying to do something, but just failed horribly.
I think they tried with the cards they were given. Um, I don't think, like I said, I don't think this movie is as bad as what we're making it sound. But it is bad, and
It
it
is
is
bad.
something it's like when you're first learning to draw or something like that. It's like you get the chance to do this. I need to look up the director's experience. But if this is his first movie, keep going because he
It is
can
not.
honestly
I
make
think it
better.
is his second feature film and fifth in general. That's what I
I
saw
mean,
when I looked him up.
whew, oh, okay. Well, I it's still I still have to say though, it's I've definitely watched some worse horror
Oh
movies.
yeah.
Um, there's one horror movie that is possibly going to come up, and I'm pretty sure everyone that's on YouTube has talked about it. But it's the newest Nicolas Cage line, and I like that movie a lot. This is a different subject, but it's a bad movie, but I like it a lot, and I usually like bad movies if I'm being honest because I find a charm in like seeing someone else's mistakes and trying to figure out what do I not like about this. Um, but that's probably all the good things I can say because
All
like
right. Now here is my quick The 5 minute analysis sitting there going, what is this trying to say? Because I'm philosophical like that. The brothers, when they growing up, they seemed to be very poor and they were pretty skinny. So basically, what's happening there is they were always in scarcity. And when the alien came down and infected them, it turns out that they started eating almost every single person or thing in sight to the point where their mother locked them in the cellar, which is just awful when you think about it.
I'm
So the real sin that they're representing is gluttony from a
oh
seven
yes.
deadly sins perspective. And it can be very, very good parallel with a modern cell phones and internet usage. You sit back and go, okay, you're basically being very gluttonous to yourself, whether it comes to information, whether it comes to social media, whether it comes to entertainment. There's a lot of things where you sit there and go, you're just looking at yourself. You're not trying to be very you're not trying to interact with the world. You're not trying to make it better. And in fact, the first person who died, he died after he pulled out his cell phone and is just looking at, I'm pretty sure it looked like a Tinder, and it's like you're swiping right and swiping right and swiping right so many times when you're in the middle of nowhere.
Yep.
Why?
I, you never. That's a good question. Um, Another thing, um, they. Oh man, another good thing. They were. Maybe when we're seeing this movie wrong. Maybe it's supposed to be more like a little bit of a parody. But they were definitely on the rules of survival. You know, the beautiful are usually the ones to die first.
You're not wrong.
Um,
But yeah, again, very, very few people are of the bed from community. Oh, okay, we know there's a slasher here. We're gonna stay put, call the police, and stand back to back with knives. If you've ever seen
oh
that
yeah,
one episode of Community where they, what was it? Britta's going, I think one of these people is a psycho killer because I made you all take a psychological test, but it was anonymous. So I'm trying to read out what kind of person would be a mass murderer. So when that actually so in order to do that, she said, I want to tell you a horror story. And she tells a very cliche story. Abed goes, I'm going to break all the cliches. And what's her name? I'm sorry, I forget the people from the community. One of them goes, "This is what scares
uh,
me," and the dean walks in a devil costume, going, "Yay,
yeah,
marriage!" Because it's showing she's an conservative Christian, so that's what she finds scary. It's one of those
yes,
moments of you very rarely get someone that smart to actually be in a horror film, because then nothing would happen, because it is the same thing as Alfred Hitchcock said with his suspense films. Why don't people ever go to the police? Because then the movie would end. But you still
yep.
need to make sure there's a justification beyond, oh, I might go to jail, I might get killed by this. But there's so many things within the film. I'm trying to segue here that were made to keep the tropes of, oh, we're not going to call someone because they're at offline camp. That could have been very neat, but looking at it, you just go, it's just a way to make sure no one has a cell phone, and even their guide doesn't have like a satellite phone, something that can get a signal anywhere and can still call people, which is
Uh,
beyond reckless.
uh, Another thing that would bother me, it did not seem like they traveled that far. They were less than a day from the camp, and oh boy, why could you not just walk back to the camp?
And if you're
Can you
walking the
please?
whole way, I'm pretty sure you could get there in like a few hours if you ran.
Not only this, but if it's a like a camp location, there should be so many kids in those woods. I don't.
Unless they
I'm
went in other
okay.
directions, but
I mean, yes, but still, they should be close enough to where you can hear the blood curdling screams of someone being split in half.
true, true.
I at least I think so. don't think I've ever been
I'm
in a
not too
situation where
sure
I'm being split in half, but you
about
know.
that because I'm pretty sure they split it up into like eight groups before they headed out. And you know there's four cardinal directions: north, south, east, west. Right, one group goes north, one goes south, one goes east, one goes west, one goes northeast, and one goes northwest, and so on.
Yeah,
So there's
that's. I mean, yeah,
so
but
there is a justification why there weren't people there, but it's still weak.
yeah, it. It just left a bad taste in my mouth. Not a horrible taste, just a bad one. Um, Let me think.
Just that pure
What's
lack
another
of
thing?
logic.
Oh, I feel like even though I know this is the reason why it's only in here and it's only for this reason, I felt like the whole electronic addicted did not play a good enough role. Um, it, I couldn't buy that most of them were addicted to electronics, especially Final Girl.
Oh yeah,
She did
I
not seem like the
did
kind
not
of
even
person.
know why she was there.
Exactly. She does not seem like someone who would be addicted to any type of internet thing. Like, don't get me wrong, I
Any time
understand it.
internet or I don't know a smartphone at all.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you get the idea with some of the characters and what they're supposed to be and such, but for her, nah, I'm good.
Yeah,
You
because the
can.
horror protagonist is so weak in this example. Because I'm not too sure if if you've heard this stuff, but many people say there's two things that really make a horror movie or horror story is one the protagonist and two the antagonist because they have to be really good reflections of each other. Because
Yep.
there's James Sunderland and a Pyramid Head, where you sit there and go, James Sunderland, he's an average guy, but you look at a Pyramid Head, and he is a representation of his twisted psyche when you really break stuff down. But you
Oh
sit
yeah.
there and go, what do these two fat bastards, pardon my French, have to do with this one girl who had her parents die because they took a selfie and did not see the frickin' semi truck hurling towards them?
Right.
And you would think someone who did not grow up with a cell phone would be smart enough to keep their eyes on the road. Now, was born in 1997. When I got my driver's license, I had a cell phone that was an iPhone. It had a touchscreen, it had all the games, it had all the stuff you would want. But you look back and say, even I know you keep your eyes on the road. Especially not to
Well,
take a frickin' picture when you could pull over and do the same.
I as much as I would like to agree, I see a lot of dumb people in the world. If I'm
I'm
being
not saying
honest.
there aren't dumb people in the world, but when you see the actual well, the part where the parents are about to get hit, well, the car's about to get hit, the truck is still in frame as he's looking over, and it looks like it's in the same lane as him to the point where you just go, why did this happen? Well, there's a certain point where people they look at like Idiocracy, the film, where they see all these people going, yeah, well, with modern medical technology, these absolute idiots, and I'm not even being mean here, you're absolute idiots and evil people get to reproduce upon on the entire world and have 1,000 grandchildren, and you get
Oh
smart
yeah.
people who don't have any children because, oh, it's not financially stable.
Wow, I feel so attacked right now.
First of all, I did not call you stupid. And second
I
of all, if
know.
you've seen the
I,
film, you get a moment of, okay, we know dumb people get to reproduce now. There's one person making a joke. When I was a child, my parents let me play with knives, guns, and firecrackers, and the dumb children died. Or the very least lost toes.
yeah, basically. Oh man. Oh, let me think. What else? What? Oh, let's talk about the big one. The music.
Oh yes, that music. It
I
is.
I understand why they chose what they chose. I will give them that. I understand why they chose it. Do I commend them for choosing it?
No.
Hell no. Hell no. Oh god.
A big
It
fat
is.
stinking F and see me underneath.
How do you seriously though? How do you literally like do mess this up? Like, okay, it's one thing to have like, uh, well, since we already spoiled it, the alien undertones of the music, right? You know, you have your alien theme. That's
True.
fine, right? I understand why that's there. You were literally trying to like hint towards your main villain being an alien, not just a hillbilly, but an alien hillbilly. You know,
Very
we
true.
don't want to be hills have eyes out here. Or excuse me, wrong turn. Well, I think both of them technically. But oh my gosh, it's not just that. It was
But
the
you need to make
this
sure
is
it's
supposed to be
subtle
your
enough.
yes, and then the other one that offended me is it was supposed to be like the sexy music for your hot
Oh
freaking
gosh.
your hot woman. What was that? what
Yeah.
I honestly I have not tried to compose something in so long. I think even I could tap into my like really old music writing and at least write something that would give you that sexy vibe. Like this is supposed to be your sexy character. Like
Very
oh my
fair, but
gosh.
yeah, again, let's be very, very honest. In films, for me, unless of course, you want to watch the sex scenes, almost every single sex scene I see in film is just awkward, because
Oh
one,
I
it's
mean yes.
either oh, we're trying to be raunchy with a girl's chest showing and a couple other nice shots, or just two people rubbing against each other, going, "This is how it happens." Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that see that's fine. That's 100% fine. I get that. I think that's always awkward. I always think it's better to cut the black. Please no. Dear God, just
Hey,
kiss
hey,
and then
hey.
cut the black.
There's one perfect way to represent sex in films, and it was done in, I believe, 1956 with Alfred Hitchcock. I bring him up a lot, but he's just that darn good. So what he did was he had two characters. They're in a room. The gay and romantic start making out, and in the background you see there's fireworks because a festival is going on. And as things go on, it dissolves slowly to fireworks. And when I saw that, it was just, I get it. You made it right. You did it right. You did it well.
Yeah. Yeah, that actually sounds good.
So
Oh
you don't
yeah.
even have to fade to black. You can do something like again, Alfred Hitchcock. You have a train going into a tunnel.
Oh yeah. There you go. Yeah, exactly. The next shot is a train going into yeah, see, like yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Sometimes less
The
is more.
exactly. I just yeah, but yeah, the music in general uh irritated me beyond belief. Oh,
It
and
was very
I don't
irritating.
get irritated very easily when it comes down to watching stuff. Um,
But I gotta
but when I
say,
do,
I don't think the filmmakers were entirely at fault here, because this is something I wanted to bring up. I think this might have been more on Netflix, because when was this film released?
is it 20? Was it May 2020?
It was released in 2020. I'm pretty sure it was shot and started editing in 2019.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah.
And what happened in 2020? In March, not in January, February, April, all that other stuff that happened. What happened in March?
Well, we don't talk about those dark days. We still live in those dark days.
Well, we're about to reach the end of those very dark days. Let's face it, the coronavirus came in. And while a lot of people have died, and a lot of people lost their businesses, lost their livelihoods, and I think the global bank said about 100 million people are going to be thrown into extreme poverty because of this virus, which is just an awful number. A lot of companies, for example Netflix, were able to make bank.
Oh
this
yeah.
last year because everyone was stuck at home. You couldn't go to the theater, you couldn't go out to see your friends at a bar, you had to stay home. So, because of that, they had to keep that content coming. You had to have that content coming no matter what. It is the Toei animation of horror films, basically. You sit back and go, you gotta have a new episode of One Piece or Dragon Ball or whatever it is this week. I don't care if you're taking 3 manga panels and stretching out into 25 minutes. You gotta get it. Now, that's a little extreme because when a filmmaker or at least a group of people have a good enough vision of what they want, they will still be able to say, okay, I know what we want, and we'll get something close to there. But as we've already talked about, they did not have a great sense of horror.
Oh yeah. It like I think you hit it. I think nah, nah, that's stupid. I was gonna say maybe he was trying to go for like a slightly wanted to do love. It just felt like the horror was coming from too many angles. I think that's what I'm coming to the conclusion of.
Yeah, because
The
like I
horror.
said, they
Yeah.
want to do a slasher Stephen King film with a lot of things like it's set in the woods. There's a religious guy who's inexplicably evil for no reason.
Oh yeah, man. Like oh,
There's that one preacher
but
where it goes, okay, I know the Catholic sex scandal has died down some, but you gotta at least make it reasonable that this guy's a jerk. Because in all
nah.
of the Stephen King films, for example, there was that bully. You sit down there. Well, the more recent one, you go, okay, the bully's kind of being abused by his father, so you understand why he would be mean to other kids. You understand that,
Yeah.
even if it's a small piece. But here you get nothing beyond, well, I have a nice church in the middle of nowhere. Of course I'm a bad guy.
So, oh man. But yeah, I honestly think no, don't get me wrong, still bad. It'd still be bad, but I think if they boosted some of the music, maybe just went ahead had no explanation of the brothers, just be like they're crazy hillbillies,
Or
right?
had like the characters find the asteroid.
Yeah,
For example, one of the things I thought was actually hilarious is the very beginning. They have the mailman coming up to deliver some mail. It's like, hey, you guys home? I got the mail. Or the milkman, I don't know what it was, and then you see the mother cleaning some clothes, and then he goes to the cellar, the I forget what it's called, and you go in
yeah,
there and it's like,
seller.
oh, what's happening under there? Oh my gosh, she's getting dragged under by something. And then it says 30 years later, and I laughed out loud because
Right?
at the very least, you could say 3 weeks later, 3 months later, because after 3 months, most people may have written you off for dead and said, well, we'll just give them a slight warning. We don't know why this person died. He may have just ran off to be with another woman because his wife was not satisfying him anymore. Who knows? It might be something weird like that. But yet again, when it's 30 years later and not a whole lot changes in the environment, you sit there and go, why did this have to happen? It's like, why was Anakin Skywalker a child in the first movie? He could have been a teenager. If he was a teenager, you could have at least said, okay, he'll learn some Force stuff like his son Luke.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah. But I think I'm personally running out of things to say about this movie.
Oh, no, no, no. We are going to have a fun with this. We'll
Oh
bring
no.
it up every single now and then. We're dubbed in Polish, but I think that's all I have to talk about as well. But you do know what is coming up in 2 weeks exactly.
Oh yes.
Demon
Hype for this one.
Slayer Mugen
Oh
Train.
yes. We're hype for this.
I'm
I've
so
been
hyped for this. I literally made sure to stay up and get these tickets as soon as possible. In fact, I'm probably going to wake up at 7 tomorrow, well, today now, just to see if the tickets have come on sale. Because I
Oh yeah.
don't think a scalper's gotten them. It just says on not IMDb, Fandango, ticket availability coming soon. Be sure to check back later. It's all those things of we want it to happen. And I wanted to run this by you. I actually wanted to have our reactions re-recorded live. It's like, we just saw Mugen Train and it was awesome, or we just saw Mugen Train and it was horrible.
Oh
And
yeah.
eventually
We
lead
can.
into a podcast.
Oh yeah. I think we can do a quick well, because
Like
I
five
think
minute
your phone's
review.
better. I was yeah, like literally right in a parking lot, and I think that'd be a good follow up. I think that'd be nice.
That's
Yeah,
true.
and just splice that onto the end maybe. But all right,
But
here we go.
beyond
Out of
that,
10,
oh yeah,
out of 10,
out of
what
10.
would you give this movie?
Would I recommend someone to see this movie? I would see this movie for one of two reasons. One, you have nothing else to do besides, I don't know, watch something good. So I would just not recommend the film unless you are just really looking for an example of something that was poorly put together. I'm gonna say edited together because I don't think the director did a horrible job, just not a very good job.
Yeah,
So just an
that
example of what not to do,
I was gonna say I think if you are an aspiring horror movie director
or even
or
a
someone who's got
editor.
editor, writer, oh man, anything that involves that, I think this is a good movie to learn from. If you like just horror movies in general, whether they be bad or good, I think it's another good thing to just watch and try to learn from.
Fair.
Um, uh, honestly, uh, if you just for whatever reason just want to just hate life and watch this movie, go for it. But just know that it is not good, and I'm gonna personally give it 3 out of 10 if I have to give it a score, and I only give it 3 out of 10 because I one for me is literally unwatchable.
Yeah, I don't really like giving out scores because I tell someone, okay, you either should not watch this because it's absolute garbage, or you should watch it because it's absolute classic, or you should watch this at least once. Like my brother's like, and I do not want to watch a Schindler's List with you because it's a very sad movie about the Nazis and the Holocaust. And it's like, I understand that, but it is something that I think everyone should watch at least once in their life.
Oh yeah. Oh,
But
butter.
there is next time. Next week, we are going to be reviewing the film The Death of Stalin. But until then, and I need to give Demonte my trade for next week. So,
Oh,
because you've been talking about horror too much, and let's also face it, I also bought the game. I'm going to just give in and let you have a little fun. We're going to have a good
oh,
podcast. I'm teasing you.
okay, okay.
Words are going to anticipate Resident Evil 2.
Resident Evil Remake 2.
Yeah, Remake 2.
Okay, okay, all right. Gotta replay this myself. I know it by the back of my hand, but good excuse to play it myself again.
Well, I'm pretty sure at this point you could speed run it because you said you had this game for years, way too many
Oh,
years. So you
yes,
could
I had the
probably
original. Whew, the original for way too many years, and I played the remake. Well, I think like I 100%ed it twice. But not only that, I did try to speed run it for a little bit back when I was streaming, but yeah, that stopped.
but speed running
So,
can be a huge time sink. I do not want to say waste of time because that is not something I believe in. Because perfecting a skill is something that is a very niche but still amazing to watch.
oh yeah,
But I
I
do not want to be a Dark Souls speedrunner. That's all I'll say.
oh yeah, no, that's oh that's too much for me. I only I rarely speedrun a game, and the only reason why I wanted to speedrun RE2 remake because, like I said, one of my first video games. But all right, man.
All right
We
then.
will continue with the death of Stalin. Oh man, I'm excited to talk about that one.
Oh, good.
I think you're not gonna expect my opinion of it.
Wait,
Or
sorry, you
actually,
cut
I
out
think
there for a sec. I will or will not like what you thought about it.
no. I said I think you won't expect.
Ooh, won't expect? Expect the
Yes, I
unexpected.
don't think you will, but I oof, can't talk about it. I'm already like
Well,
in
you
that mode
can.
about it.
It would just be spoilers.
Yeah, exactly. But all right, man.
All right.
That's where we're gonna have
Well,
to cut
next
this one.
time we shall be reviewing The Death of Stalin. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you later, Space Cowboy.
And I'll see you later, Space Cowboy.